Welcome to the Convenient Commander podcast, where we talk about making cEDH convenient for everybody. I am one of your hosts, Mason.
And I'm Jared, or my online name is JB Gardner. You can call me whichever is easier for you.
Well, introduce yourselves. I started playing cEDH 2 years ago. When I first showed up to my LGS that I go to basically like every week now. I showed up with a $50 deck and showed up and saw a lot of cEDH decks. So it seemed like it was time to upgrade, and I really hopped into the format and love it. How about you? When did you start your cEDH journey?
Yeah, so I actually started about a year ago. So actually, I'm gonna cheers to this. This is like one year anniversary of being a cEDH player. Yeah. So essentially, I started playing cEDH because I had always had a competitive mindset, but playing with casual decks. So I would get really upset when my decks didn't win, and I was spending so much money on cards and things like that. And I was like, this really sucks. Like, I wish I had access to more cards. I want to play more competitively. I don't know where to start. And so last year, I, met Mason, met a bunch of other people at the shop, and just started jamming cEDH and been loving it ever since. I like the fact that we don't have a rule zero conversation. Everybody's on the same page. Nobody's really salty about plays too often.
Yeah.
Unless they're bad playing decisions, right? Like, unless it's misplays or things like, you're right. But for the most part, nobody's going to be salty for you doing your thing. Doing what your best does and winning the game. Like, nobody cares about that.
That's why I love cEDH, though. Yeah. Everyone shows up to win, and we're all in agreement.
Right. And one of the things we're here to do, too, is kind of like what we did for me too, is just playing more proxies, right? And just making the format a lot more accessible. We want to play people, not their wallets, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So that's one of the reasons why we call ourselves Convenient Commander.
In all honesty, we do want to make cEDH convenient for everyone, and I think cEDH should be everyone's format. I mean, if you want to try it. I find it really fun, and I know a lot of people find it really fun. Speaking of fun, though, something that was really fun that happened yesterday was the tournament that we were both in.
That's right.
So at our local LGS, there are tournaments that have been taking place for the past, 2 years now? Probably. Year and a half. I'd say it's about a year and a half, maybe a little less than that, maybe just a little over a year. And it's a tournament series called the Fishbowl. And so it was started by playing with Power, merging with our store, and they were trying to do their tournament, do a tournament there. And we just had the Fishbowl 3 yesterday, as of the time of recording this, and the Fishbowl series has been amazing. I love it. I love that we have local competitive tournaments. I remember the first Fishbowl I was in. It was before you showed up.
Right.
I was playing Animar Creature Storm. It's not a very common deck nowadays, but I did top 16 with it, so that was pretty cool.
What did you like most about that build, and like how did you feel when you did that?
I liked that it's a combo that's hard to interact with. It was about 50 or 60 creatures. The deck was playing 4 non-creature spells, and it was all about
so no counters, no interaction.
It has interaction, so that's the mistake. People think that it's like no count. You're not running Force of Will. You're not running interaction. It has interaction. It was running like Glenelendra. Okay. It was running Endurance.
Gotcha.
It was running, what's that one? Tidal Barracuda.
I gotcha. It made all the stuff cheaper.
Yes. And since Animar makes everything cheaper, the deck storms off so quickly. It was also running a lot of Cascade spells, Cascade creatures. And I found the deck to be very explosive, and people can't really stop it because you're going to use, you only have Force of Will Pact, mana drain, but I mean, in terms of free counter spells, Force of Will Impact are what you're going to get creatures on, which not many people are going to do. So the deck was fun. It started feeling a little slow, a little janky. I decided to switch it up. Fishbowl 2, That was when you showed up, right?
So Fishbowl 2 was the first cEDH tournament I ever did. That was, so I've been playing Commander for a really long time, ever since like OG Innistrad Block is when I started playing. And then cEDH, like I said, got into it around last year. Fishbowl 2 was that summer, early summer, late spring. First one I ever did, I sucked. I sucked so bad. And I'll tell you why I did. It's because...
I don't really remember that.
Well, no, I didn't win a single game. And I'll tell you why I didn't. Because here's the thing. When I got into the format, I looked up online, okay, what are like this like letter tier lists of commanders, right? And I saw Tasigur up there. Now, for those of you who have been in the format for a while, you know Tasigur's been out of favor since, I don't know, maybe 2018, what is it, 2018, maybe 2020?
Banana Man's gone a little bit over
he's gone a little bit over the hill, he's a little bit past his prime, okay?
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have a deep understanding of the deck or deep knowledge of the deck. It's funny because the next tournament after that, I did top 16 with it because I had a deeper knowledge and understanding, and we'll get into this a little later, but it's why I chose the deck today. That I brought to this tournament. That brings us to now.
Yes.
And the cool thing is we've seen it grow year after year after year, and this was the largest cEDH tournament on the West Coast in recent memory. And that's partly because of Eminence, the company putting on these events. Big shout out to Zane and all the things they're doing over there with the Eminence team. We had a lot of awesome players, so... Yeah, tell me about your prep for this upcoming tournament, because there's been a lot that's happened. I remember we were doing a lot of prepping, so tell me about...
There was a lot of prepping into the past couple weeks, prepping into this tournament. Was looking at the tracks, made some changes, did that. I was not feeling good about the deck. I don't know, it's probably just not my play style, because I mean, Atrax is a great deck. It's putting up numbers.
Well, what version we want, right? Because there's
there's multiple versions.
All in food chain. There's true mid range. So like, where were you going with that? What was your prep like there?
I definitely wasn't in I was definitely leaning more mid range. It was a lot of just like food chain heavy side too. So it's like a mix between mid range food chain. I definitely say it's more mid range Atraxa though, which I feel like is perfect for the meta. The meta is mid range hell right now.
Yeah.
But the deck just felt slow, felt clunky. It's not really my style, I guess, even though I'm a big green player.
You know, my brother just texted me recently. He said Atraxa is probably one of the best creatures that's legal across all formats. And I'm like,
yes. Atraxa is a multi-format all-star right now.
It's so scary. Like, it's one of the best reanimation targets in Modern, and then it's the scariest.
In Legacy and Modern, it's like... amazing.
Do you think... Okay, here's a question for you. Do you think Atraxa's ETB or Tibbet's ETB is worse? What are you more scared of? Yeah.
Oh, like, if I'm playing against it, I would hate to see an Atraxa ETB.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Atraxa ETB, they draw 5 cards.
Yeah.
At least. You're drawing 5 cards versus Tibbet's like, okay, you make some clues, you make some treasures, but if somebody has a blind obedience, someone has any artifact hate, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Atraxa's like, you have to have a Torpor Orb, or you're screwed. And even if you do, that's a 7/7 flying vigilance lifelink death touch.
That thing is face.
3 turns and you're dead.
And even though it's wanting to be like I say at least 5 cards because there's ways to flicker it. You have ways to clone it. You get an Atraxa rip, you get your 5, right? And hold up, there's a Fibbage.
Yep, another Atraxa.
Another Atraxa. Yep,
yeah,
easy.
It's insane.
So all that being said, why not Atraxa?
It's just not my deck, I think. It didn't feel like it, and I was prepping for weeks, making changes, changing out some cards, playing the deck. And then, probably 2 nights before the tournament.
2 nights before the...
2 nights before the tournament, you were there. Our friend says to me, he's like, hey, what if that deck's just not your style? And that just went in my head, and I was like, you're right, bro, that's not my style.
That was 2 nights before the tournament.
That was 2 nights before the tournament. And so the night before, I decide to full pivot. And I full pivot and throw together this Tevesh Crom list, and it's Girthy Grixis. It is not your Rogsai list. That is Tevesh Crom's like mid-range Grixis, still on Adnaz, but it's not really like an Adnaz and win deck. It's more like Adnaz is the backup plan.
Right.
It really called out to me the night before because I looked at some interactions in there and I was like Dockside and Mystic Reflection.
Right.
God, I want to hit that one time. I didn't hit it in the tournament. I was this close.
Well, so what? Why that interaction? So
It
I
just
actually don't even know that comment because I haven't looked a lot at what was it, cEDH. I haven't looked a lot at the list. I probably should have because it's converting like mad right now.
It is.
But what's the specific combo there? Just for people who don't know.
It's
including me, because I'm not super familiar with it either.
So, Dockside Extortionist, it enters the battlefield, you make treasure tokens equal to the number of artist enchantments. Everybody knows Dockside.
I heard it's a good card.
Mystic Reflection, though. It's a 1 and a blue instant, choose target non-legendary creature.
Yeah.
The next time one or more creatures would enter the battle, or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. So what you do is you have a Dockside on your field, someone else's field, whatever.
Right.
You target it with Mystic Reflection. And then you +2 to Vesh.
Can I see that real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put all the cards up on the screen for everybody.
Mystic Reflection also can just stop Thassa's because you target something else and their Thassa's would enter as nothing, whatever creature you chose. But it's one or more. So what you do is you target the Dockside, and then you +2 your Tevesh to make 2 Thralls, which will both enter as Docksides, and so you get a double Dockside ETB. And that is the number one reason I wanted to play this list. It's the number one reason that I wanted to play this.
Yo, that's sick.
Right? So it's gas.
No, that's
we're cooking with gas here. We're cooking with gas. That's the whole reason I wanted to play this deck. It's just seeing that interaction, and I'm like, dude, I can just for free plus Tevesh and make 2 Docksides. That's amazing. You know what's even funnier? Actually, I'll get into that later. How I've used the Mystic Reflection to stop other people from winning, because you can do this on any creature entering the battlefield.
What
I remember.
Weird card.
I used to play Orvar, and this was great in Orvar. It was my way of stopping Thassa's wins.
Oh, okay.
I played against a Winota one time, and they were swinging, and they had 5 or 6 triggers on the stack from these They're all enter at the same time, by the way, from Winota. Well, they'll all enter. So I Mystic Reflection and Arbor Elf. And so I'm like, whatever you get from your Winota ETB will enter as an Arbor Elf. You don't get the Boros Reckoner or the whatever their huge combat creatures are going to be.
I love this card. That's so sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
what deck did you decide to play?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Opposite of you, I did not make the pivot 2 nights before. I did the opposite.
One night before.
The night before.
My first game was round 1. My first game with this deck was round 1.
Oh my gosh. I want to hear about your round 1 because you said you forgot. You said you forgot how it was, and then you try to remember it, wrote it down a bit. I want to hear about that for sure. Before we get into that, I do want to talk about my list real quick. So, like I said before, I am a semi-seasoned Tasigur pilot. And by seasoned, I mean with salt, pepper, and maybe a little bit of garlic. I've been in the format for a year. I've had a lot of success with Tasigur. To date, I'm one of the highest performing players on Tasigur. So I thought, okay, here's what I want to do this tournament. If I made semifinals with Tasigur, maybe I take the same game plan, right, and play something a little bit more meta. So I actually brought Dargo Thrasios to the tournament. It's been doing really well right now. 4 months ago, it was in a cool spot for me because I saw it as sort of the signature Neoform list. So for those of you unfamiliar, Neoform is my favorite effect in all of Magic, basically getting to sack a big thing to get a bigger thing. In Tasigur, you Neoform Tasigur to get
whatever monster of the week you're running.
Whatever monster of the week you're running, but
you're running Nezahal.
Yeah,
that's great. I love Nezahal.
Yeah, that's something, right? You get whatever you want. One of the spice techs I had in Tasigur was actually one of our mutual friends who gave me sort of the inspiration for it. It's called Scar of the Lost Trove. It enters, and then you can cast something from your graveyard for free. So you recast Neoform, sack the 7-drop to get the 8-drop Hoarding Broodlord. So that was my combo I really liked. So for this list, I really wanted to play something with Neoform, but I also wanted Dockside and do the acceleration of red. So Dargo Thrasios was kind of the choice there. And I've been loving the list a lot. It took me 4 months to find what I liked because it is a really hard list to play. There's sort of somewhat 3 versions. There's a version that leans a little bit more on Thrasios, tries to grind a little bit more, has some pieces in there that help you extract a little bit more advantage from Thrasios than normal.
Yeah.
And then there's the list that goes all in on Dargo and just has a bunch of Dargo combos, ways to...
Thrasios is just there for the colors.
Yeah, exactly. Thrasios is just mostly there for the colors. You can still use him if you want to, but he's mainly just a 2-mana Rograk that gets free, fierce guardianships and, deflecting
so
SWAT.
Then why not just play Rograk?
Why not just play Rograk? Well, because Dargo has a lot of really good payoffs. So, for example, Greater Good is a green ad nauseum. So this deck actually qualifies green as a decent color.
Yeah.
For those of you folks who happen to be from
Probably
casual
should explain
watching,
Greater Good.
exactly. Yeah. So I'll explain Greater Good really quickly. Basically, what it does is it lets me sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to its power, and then discard 3 cards.
Yep.
So Dargo's a 7/5. You can make him cost 2 less for each artifact or creature you have sacrificed, and you could also sacrifice artifacts or creatures as an additional cost to reduce them by 2. So the point there is if you make a lot of treasures with Dockside or whatever, you can sacrifice 4 or 5 of those things to make his cost go down a lot. You spend the 4 mana from the treasures you just sacked to play the Greater Good. And then as long as you have 1 red, you can keep playing Dargo, sacrificing him over and over. He pays for his own commander tax in that aspect, and you just keep drawing the whole deck. So, that wasn't the line I got to do this tournament, sadly. I did it during a fun game afterwards on turn 2, which was sick. But you were there. You were in that game. Yeah. So I did that after the tournament. That was really fun. But yes, so Dargo qualifies green in a way that not a lot of other partners do. Right? Like turning your green tutors into green creature tutors for Dockside, because Teamer doesn't have the flexibility of the black tutors. Like making green have better tutors because you get Dockside, which has better payoffs with Dargo. Getting access to cards like Life's Legacy and Greater Good, getting draw more cards. So where I was going to before was a Demir shell with a splash of green. Now I feel like green's actually good in my deck.
Okay. Green's like a main component of your deck at this point.
A lot more than Tassiger for sure, right? Which is mainly a Demir shell. I feel as though, in general, like it qualifies the color in a combination I haven't really seen a lot. But that's just my opinion. I also think, too, that one of the reasons I really wanted to run this list as well is just because Dockside, I learned this tournament, coming from a Sultai perspective, is just so good.
Oh yeah,
card's insane.
Dockside is probably the best card in the format.
It's probably one of the best creatures. Yeah,
I wouldn't even say creatures. Like he's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the format has kind of warped into like who gets a Dockside, who can clone a Dockside.
Right.
Most, like
people running images everywhere.
Yeah.
Flesh dupes, like absolutely.
It's all about Dockside.
Yeah, so still wanting to be on a Neoform build that really is like one of my favorite effects, and just being able to do stuff like that. Neoforming Dargo into Tide Spout and doing loops that way with him and him.
That's really.
So that's what I wanted to bring to this tournament and play. I was gonna say one more thing about it, but I think it's slipping my mind. Yeah. I think it took me a while to find what I liked, but I do like the more Thrasios leaning version of it. So being able to grind with Thrasios actually came up a lot during this tournament. And we can get into that in just one.
Let's get into the tournament. Honestly, I want to talk about what happened.
Yeah.
So
how was your round 1?
Round 1.
Yeah.
So we'll get into my round 1. My round 1, I am 3rd seed, playing against Blue Farm in 1st seed.
Okay.
Blue Farm in 2nd seed. Me, and then Rogsai in 4th seed. Now, I mull to, I want to say 5 or 4. And
that's
it's
a lot
ramp.
of Grixis colors.
Yes. We got 3, basically got 4 Grixis decks, and then a little bit of white splashed into the other 2. So I get turn 1, C1 Blue Farm gets Crom out, smacks Rogsai.
Right.
C2 Blue Farm gets Crom out, turn 1. Smacks Rogsai.
Oh,
he's already got 8 damage on him before he even goes to his first turn.
Wait, that's sick.
And then I go and I'm like, please let me rip like a Jeweled Lotus or something, and I can go Crom, smack Rogsai, and then no land. I was really banking on the extra mana.
Did you feel like you could have mulliganed differently? Like
I should have.
First 7.
So the biggest takeaway from the day was that I should have learned to mulligan differently. This deck wants to be aggressively mulliganing.
To be fair, it was your first game playing.
It was literally my first game playing the deck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. I've learned now that mulliganing is huge. I need to be mulliganing aggressively. So that's my round 1 got just destroyed. It was okay. Blue Farm got 3 turns. You got it. Like he had 2 counterspell backups, and I'm like, okay. Roxanne tried to stop him. Blue Farm tried to stop him. So
your
round 1 was pretty quick.
So far you are 0-1.
0-1.
0-1. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm going to tell you.
What was your round one?
What was my round one? Okay. Also, in case any of you were curious as to how we did in this tournament, we're not going to tell you. You got to stick around in order to find out. Yeah.
Find out our record as the rounds go on. We'll talk about all of them.
If anybody cares, which hopefully they should. It is our pilot episode, so we're not sure who's here, but if you are here, you're the real
All three of you are great.
All three of you are the original people to listen to this podcast.
Yep.
Thank you for sticking around. So my round one was very similar. Okay.
It's very similar.
Very similar. We got Blue Farm in seat 1.
Okay. Yep. There was a ton of Blue Farms.
Yeah. Dude.
The most popular deck in the format, and if you're not familiar, I know we can talk about Blue Farm. It's Crom Timna.
Mm-hmm.
So Crom, 3 blue and a red for a 4/4 flying haste. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card.
Hey, it looks something like this.
Yep.
That's the card right there.
And, we put that on the screen. And then we also it comes partnered with Timna. So it's 1, a white and a black for a 2/2 with lifelink. That says, in your post-combat main phase, you may pay X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of opponents who are dealt damage this turn. Timna, dealt combat damage this turn, I think, is what Timna specifies. So they just draw a lot of cards, and it's in every color but green. It is the biggest card draw deck in the format. Both those commanders draw you so much, and it's just that shell of Grixis with white. It has some silence effects. It's mostly Grixis, and it just is the most popular deck in the format. I don't know if it's the best. I know a lot of people say it's the best, and there are a lot of decks in contention there. But it is definitely the most popular.
For sure. And the thing is, having Grixis with the support of white is pretty good.
Yeah,
you get
sound effects?
Sound effects are so oppressive. And it's crazy because now you see a bunch of other decks now running more defense grid, running more dosing, which I'm actually on. I'll explain that a little later. But yeah, just having the ability to lock out all of your opponents from interaction is just such an amazing thing to do, because your anxiety, like when we're jamming a win, all of us are like, oh my gosh, like you feel your blood running,
you get the nerves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when you have a silence effect on there, like all that just melts away. So it's very tempting for people to want to play that way, right?
Yeah.
To have that silence effect. How much of it is cope or not? I don't know. I don't know how much of it is
copium
how much copium are they huffing to get that effect? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think having at least one is good in decks where you're not drawing as many cards as Blue Farm, which is currently almost every deck right now.
Yeah.
So that's fair. So yes, I had 2 Blue Farms, and I was seat 3. Okay. So I'm going already a little bit stressed out. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Immediately specify the beginning of every round, especially since I was at seat 3 for most of this tournament.
Yeah.
Hey, we're resolving mulligans in order. And guess what happened as soon as I said that?
What?
We got a snap keep from Blue Farm in first seat. And it's actually my friend. It's actually my good friend Alex. So Alex, if you're watching this, hey man, that was a sick game.
Snap keep first 7.
Snap keep first 7 for Blue Farm, seat 1. Seat 2 is actually Ultimate, who is pretty famous in our community too. So already, again, I'm against 2 Blue Farm players. I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
Ultimate wants to mulligan. I look at my hand and I see. Here's what I see. Here's what I go. I go, okay. I have an Ancient Tomb.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some kind of rock. I think it was a Chrome Mox, just something. But I've got Dockside and Kinnan and a wheel.
Oh, wow.
Here was the reason why I kept this hand. I thought, okay, if I could turn one wheel, even though I'm pitching Dockside and Kinnan, I don't have a lot of payoff at this point. Yeah. I don't have my Neo form for Dargo with the Dockside. I don't have a lot of those payoffs, but if I have Dockside and Kinnan will double the Dockside treasures. So I'm thinking one of 2 things is going to happen. Either I'm going to turn one wheel if they don't drop a lot of rocks, or if Blue Farms drop a ton of rocks, then
you're going to turn one Dockside.
Then I'm going to turn one Dockside, and then I'm going to turn one Kinnan, and then I'm going to just fucking have a ton of mana.
Yeah.
And so I was just super psyched about that. And so I'm like, okay, whatever happens, I have these 2 play patterns. One of these 2 things is going to happen. Both these are good for me. So, Attractive player over here, he mulls to 3. But because of how mulligans work, I didn't know he was going to go to 3. So that's part of the advantage of going later in turn order. It's one of the only advantages you get.
So if you wheel turn 1, you're feeding him.
Exactly. But again, I thought, okay, he's going to 3. This isn't the worst situation in the world, because we all know the Blue Farm players are going to go for it. And if I refill the Traxa, I can just pass priority to him, sandbag, and have him interact.
Yeah.
So that was my logic. So we have Alex, my buddy, first seat, first keep of the 7. We see what he does. I think he did something like, I think land rock tutor pass, something. He did something that really set me off.
Okay.
Both the blue farms did some type of tutoring. And so I was like, all right, this wheel's about to feel real. And that's exactly what it did. And then after the game, the blue farm players told me, like, oh no, that turn one wheel was 100% the play. Like, we had it set up, like, ready to go. Like, we were both going for turn 2 win attempts. I'm like, hey, that turn one wheel was super clutch. And I got that, disrupted everybody's hand. We all got a fresh 7. My second 7, exactly what I wanted to happen happened. I don't know if it was dumb luck or whatever, but I have the finale in hand. I have the dockside payoff. I had I think it was Neoform. Neoform or Eldritch, one of those two, don't quite remember, but I had the dockside payoff ready to go. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back dockside, I'm gonna get treasures, I'm gonna Neoform Dargo, win the game, all that good stuff, ready to go. I also had Displacer Kitten as well. So I was like, I have Manual Storm at worst case, I've got this. At best case, Atraxa drops a turn 1 Dranith, and then we ended up fighting it in this grindy game where they just had all the stacks pieces for me. They had the Oppo, they had everything. So Opposition Agent obviously sets off Search, shuts off my Neoform. I was completely shut out. I was like, dang it, I have all the pieces after the wheel. Everything went according to plan. I disrupted Blue Farm. I had all my pieces. And they just had all the stacks pieces, and I could not assemble it that game. But luckily, my friend Alex got it, and he's a local at the shop with us, so we're happy.
We're happy that Alex won.
He got there, right? But
that wheel was
But also getting paired up with him kind of sucked because I was like, okay, it's gonna be only one of us, bro. Like I wanted us to be more, spread out there.
You wanted to be
but no, Blue Farm took it. Just Ad Naus is a hell of a card. You know what I mean? Yep. Especially when it's at Detrax's head step.
Ad Naus is amazing.
So it went back and forth interaction all over the place in Blue Farm and taking it.
Man, that is
yeah. Real sad about that. And just had all the stacks pieces for me, sadly. How was your round 2?
Round 2. Oh man, so I'm 3rd seed again.
Again.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm playing against first seed is Varigoth. Do you aware Varigoth is
No fucking way, dude.
Yes.
You were against a Varigoth deck?
I was against Varigoth.
You're telling me there were 2 Varigoth decks for this tournament? Because my round 2 also had a Varigoth in first seat.
In your round 2? So there were 2 Varigoth decks?
Yeah, there were 2 Varigoth decks. Actually, I think I might have been first seat round 2, but yes, there was 2 Varigoth decks.
And he had the Varigoth sleeves on his deck.
No, not mine.
Okay, so then it was 2 different Varigoth? That's crazy.
What a horrible deck. Oh,
okay, I don't like Varigoth.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Varigoth is a... we should probably pull the card up, but Varigoth is, if I remember correctly, a 2-mana 2/3.
I got you, bro. I don't even know what that card does. Actually, yes, I do.
The only thing that you need to remember is it's mono black. It has the ability Boast. So Boast you can only activate after you've attacked.
Hey, you know what? Birkin lets you boast an additional time. Did you know that?
Yes, I actually am aware of that. Varigoth
super irrelevant, bro.
Varigoth's Boast is a 1 and a black. You search your library for a card, put that card on top of your library. Search your library for a card, shuffle your library, and then put the chosen card on top of your library. So you basically Vamp Tutor.
You Vamp Tutor, but it's for 1 and a black, and you could only activate it if the creature attacked this turn.
Yes.
And it has Death Touch, and it's a 2/3.
Death Touch 2/3. Okay.
And it is 2 and a black, so it is castable on the Jeweled Lotus.
Continue.
Continue.
Oh God, I hate this card. Varigoth, so he's in seat 1.
Because, you don't...
He gets the Jeweled Lotus, turn 1 Varigoth. Jeweled Lotus or Dark Ray, I don't remember. And then seat 2 is Sisay. This Sisay, I don't know what it was. This Sisay was very different than other Sisays I played against. This Sisay goes, okay, the whole game, every 10 minutes in this game, this Sisay player goes, I offer a draw. Every 10 minutes.
What? Why? Did you win or something? I spilled everything.
No, I mulled to 6. I kept, in all honesty, I don't remember. I think I kept like Jewel Lotus and a couple and like ramp and lands, and I was gonna get to Vesh off early. Sisay turn 2 goes land, Arcane Laboratory. It's 2 and a blue. It's an enchantment.
It's blue
rule of law. It says each player can only cast 1 spell a turn. And everyone groans, and we're all like, really, dude?
Right.
I think I had actually a mana crypt or something else out, because I was able to get to Vesh. I think it was turn 3. Because Varigoth tutors passes, rule of law comes down for Sisay, and I'm like, why is this what is this doing? And he goes, I offer a draw. And we're like, no. And
Right,
then I go to my turn.
Welcome to bargain.
Yeah, and I play a land, and then I play Dothy. Because Sisei's just like, I got nothing to stop this Varaggoth ad nauseam. Like, I played this rule a lot, but if he can get around it. So I go, okay, Dothy. And you're like, oh, that's a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm holding up a Flusterstorm.
Right.
And then we go to Mad Farm. Mad Farm gets another creature out, and is just like swinging at people. We're just playing around this rule. I'm just making thralls as blockers at this point because I'm at like 20 life or something. We're all pretty low.
Right.
I play a Crom, and I start swinging at Mad Farm because Adnos is gone from the Varaggoth. Mad Farm's getting kind of upset. My Tevesh is getting pretty high on loyalty, and so I remember him just politicking the hell out of it and saying, "Hey, we need to worry about the Tevesh. We need to worry about the Tevesh." And he has got like 10 creatures on his board or something. And it's just like,
we need to worry about the
and life totals are all like in the 20s or maybe 30 at most, and we're like, yo, it's going to be a combat game. And so he's like, we need to worry about Tevesh, because Tevesh is going to steal our commanders. And I'm like, what am I going to do with a Varaggoth? Sisei I can't activate. And like, you're playing Jessica.
How big is Tevesh at this point?
Tevesh is at 8, I think, when he starts complaining about it. Okay. And I'm like, the biggest thing you need to worry about, the Mad Farm needs to worry about, is I'm going to get a Jessica with a Crom, and I'm going to triple Crom and start killing people.
Yeah.
that's what he needs. Like, sure, that's the only threat if I steal everyone's commanders, though.
Right.
Like, come on. Come on. He goes to his turn. He's got a Mad Farm's got an Oswald Fiddlebender. So it's 1 and a white.
Wait, yeah, so I know why does he have Fiddlebender?
Exactly. Well, so it's Birthing Pod for artifacts.
Yes.
He sacked a treasure, something he made off Dockside, got a 1-drop. He sacked his 1-drop, or his 1-drop was Portable Hole.
Okay.
And then he sacked one of his 2-drop things like Fellwar Stone, and at a later turn, and got a Cursed Mirror to clone. I want to say at that point he cloned Crom and then swung at me. Because he's like, I'm still worried about Adnos coming out of Tevesh Crom.
It's still weird tech. I don't know if I know a lot of Mad Farm lists on
Oswald.
On Oswald, yeah.
Yeah,
It seems like interesting.
It is wild. Varaggoth at this point is out of the game.
Yeah.
So he...
Sounds about right. If Varaggoth hasn't won the game, it's out of the game. That's
he suspends a living end, though. He just says, well, if I'm out of this game, I'm going to wipe the board. He suspends a living end. And I'm like, oh, crap. Tevesh gets up to 10. And I'm like, I'm going to ult next turn. Sisei's like, I don't care about the Tevesh ulting. He's not going to do anything with the commanders. Like, he's going to kill Mad Farm, I assume. And
of course, the Mad Farm's upset.
Mad Farm's upset, and he's politicking with Varaggoth. And he's like, we need to kill that Crom, or that Tevesh. That Tevesh is going to win him the game. And it's like, no, it's not. It's going to kill you, probably.
Yeah.
So what he does first is he sacks a Ranger Captain. And he says, well, this is because I don't want the Imposter Mech coming back to be a Ranger Captain. And that's why I sacked it. Because the Imposter Mech's going to come back once the Portable Hole is gone. Because that's what was Portable Hole. So he gets the Portable Hole gone. The Imposter Mech comes back. It becomes a copy of Oswald. Then he grabs the Witchclaw Talisman. Witchclaw's for a way to remove the Arcane Laboratory. Now that everyone's locked onto this Ranger Captain. Removes the Arcane Laboratory and then proceeds to win. So yeah, my second round went like that. I lost to Mad Farm.
That's what I thought. You want to know who I lost to?
What happened in your second round? So I'm 0-2 now.
So you're 0-2. Yeah. At this point, I'm 0-1. And guess what? It didn't get better for me second round. Spoiler alert. I'm going to keep this one quick because I wish this game were quick. Let me give you the rundown. So, you had Varaggoth Adversity.
Yeah.
Or it was either me or...
Did Varaggoth get it?
No. You want to know why I didn't get it? Because I was a little bit of a demon. So, I think it actually was Quark Sakashima. That's what it was. In first seat.
This is the Quark Sakashima.
This is the one.
I heard about this.
This game was cursed. Okay. For all you Quark Sakashima pilots out there, I want to really like you, but my gosh, that deck sucks. I'm going to explain.
Everyone played against it.
Everyone played against it.
Playing the deck, I'm sure, is so fun for that player.
So fun for that
I
player.
would love it. I'm a Storm player. I feel like I would love it, but I don't want to take 30-minute turns.
Exactly. You don't want to take 34. But here's the thing. My issue is the way to close it out seems efficient. It just takes forever. But maybe that's just my experience with this one time. Anyways, the Quark Sakashima pilot, God bless his heart, he went first, and he just dropped some mana producing stuff. I kept a hand where I'm up against Varaggoth, and I'm like, okay, Varaggoth pilot that I was with, great guy. Honestly, like one of the coolest people I met in the tournament, like super chill, super nice guy. You know, actual pleasure to play against, right?
Yeah.
Super cool dude. Varagov sucks. Deck sucks. It's bad Keurig. I'm sorry, I said it. Like,
You know
I don't.
You know what Keurig is? Bad brains.
Bad brains. Hey, don't draw that too early. We'll have a whole episode on braids later.
Yeah.
We're both big fans. But yes, Varagov is... I'm like, okay, here's my hand at this point. I have some fast mana. I want to get Thrasios out there. I want to start grinding with Thrasios, and I think my game plan for that specific hand was just mana, Thrasios, and I had some type of creature tutor, but we don't know what we're gonna get yet.
Okay.
I actually think, you wanna know what? I actually think I had my Seaborn Muse. I think I had mana, Seaborn Muse, Thrasios. Pretty solid, right?
Yeah. You're gonna get Thrasios at turn 1?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was off a mull to 5. So I had functional Seaborn Muse in hand. I actually think it was a creature tutor, not exactly the card specifically, but in my mind, it's a Seaborn Muse because that's what I need to get right now. If I have mana and I have a green tutor, I'm probably going to tutor a Seaborn. That's just what's going to happen. So, and it was off a mull to 5, right? And so I also happen to have in my hand, though, a Brain Freeze. So
playing against Karkashima, Brain Freeze could be useful.
Could be useful. I didn't understand how to play against Karkashima, and that was one of the things that came up in the game. But the Brain Freeze, I go, okay, as soon as Varagov top deck tutors, I get to turn a dead card into a card that just kills somebody. So I'm like, this fight's not looking so bad. So sure enough, Varagov does the Varagov thing, gets Varagov out early, tutors the card, and then passes Sisei's turn, right? Because it's Karkashima, me, Varagov, and Sisei. So very similar pod to yours, ironically, but we'll swap out the Mad Farm with the Karkashima. Yeah. Super similar. So Sisei guy, one of our other tournaments, he actually made top 4, and he actually won the tournament. This was the
it was that guy. Okay.
Yeah, it was that Sisei guy. And so it was like, hey, good to see you again, bro. Like, yeah, it was cool sitting across from him. He didn't do much all game. It seemed like he didn't, he was just getting unlucky. Like, it just wasn't a board stand that was conducive to his development. Yeah. Varagov, at this point, had gotten out. Varagov, top deck tutored, so passes to Sisei's turn, because Varagov's right after me. So I talk to Sisei player, I go, hey man, I'm going to be honest with you, I have this Brain Freeze in my hand, okay? And I can just Brain Freeze this Varagov guy who just tutored, who's going to draw and cast Admiles next turn. I can just do that. What do you guys think? Do you think I should Brain Freeze him for a lot or for a little bit? And after this, I look at the Varagov player's face and just drain. He's just so sad. Because I'm being so candid about just how
I can just remove his...
I'm just talking very candidly, like, I could just take this guy out of the game right now. Like, it wouldn't even be hard. And he's just like... he just looks so disappointed.
It wouldn't even be a thing.
Yeah, right? So I was like, I don't know. I felt a little bit bad about it, but it was the best thing to politic because who cares? Dude? I was so unafraid, shamelessly so. So I was like shamelessly so. And so anyways, the consensus was just to Brain Freeze him just for its normal effect, and so because we're like we don't want to fill him up too much. What if he has Yawgmoth's Will? Like we don't want to go too deep, right? Yeah. And I'm like, but what if we go deep and hit Yawgmoth's Will? And they're like, let's just mill the top 3. Play it safe, get whatever you tutored for out there, and then, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it if we need to, do more things to this person. Brain Freeze the Varagov guy, and I think we actually did hit the Yogg's Will also. Anyways, you hit the Anods and the Yogg's Will. I'm pretty sure. Jeez. It was really brutal. There's a board wipe that happens. He did the Sickening Dreams thing that we just talked about. Yeah. And then Karkashima gets all set up. Here it comes to my turn. It's turn 3. I have a 1 ring. And I go, hey, I can cast this 1 ring, then get my Seaborn Muse later on. Yeah. And at that point, if I can assemble that, I just take over the game.
Oh, yeah. With all that card draw?
And I had a Manama on board, too. So I'm like, if I can assemble those 3, that's like the 3 pieces of Exodia, except it doesn't win on the spot.
Manama, Wandering,
and Seaborn, that's it. Like, I had Thrashers and more already. Exodia. I'm like, okay, here we go. Cast the 1 ring. I gain protection. I draw a card. It's some type of counter. It's actually a Force of Will. I drew a Force of Will off of that. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I have some interaction for whoever wants to do the thing. And I'm like, if it gets to my next turn, I got it. If it gets to my next turn, I got it. if it gets to my next turn, how long has Kark Sakashima taken this turn? How long has it been? 40 minutes?
Dude, they're just touring for 40 minutes?
So for 45 minutes, this is why I don't like Kark Sakashima, it doesn't just win. It has to jump through a million hoops before it wins. I was just sitting there waiting. Dude. And so at this point, I'm thinking, all right, here's what I hope happens, okay? I disrupted Kark Sakashima at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was the right point. I had to do it earlier, but I was asking my opponents, and I'm not familiar with Kark Sakashima, which maybe is an issue of my prep, but I wasn't prepping for Kark Sakashima. I was prepping for Kinnan, and I didn't lose to Kinnan. I beat 2 Kinnans. That was my meta tech.
That was your prep.
I didn't expect to see a Kark Sakashima. I've done only a few, I think maybe 3 or 4 big tournaments at this point.
Yeah.
I haven't played Kark Sakashima once. No, I have played against Blue Farm, Kinnan. Every single time.
Yeah.
That's always Obnix too.
Yeah.
But not Kark Sakashima. So I'm like, when do I disrupt this man? They said, disrupt him here. So I did, disrupted him there. And even though I did, Kark Sakashima, once it assembles its pieces, it's just unstoppable. It's over. And it was 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, I know this deck can't win through a 1-ring. He has to pass to me eventually. If he takes all the time on his turn, I still have 1-ring protection. So if he goes to time at this point and passes the turn, it's a draw, because the way it works for people who aren't familiar with it is if you go to time, you get to finish out. You have 15 minutes to finish out your turn. I think that's how it was for this tournament. And then after that, you have to pass the turn, and it ends in a draw if you do. So I'm like, okay, if it goes to time, he has to finish his turn at some point and pass, and then it's a draw. So I'm like, please go to time, please go to time, please go to time.
Yeah.
It was like, we almost went to time. There was a couple judge calls, which I'm not going to say don't call a judge, because everybody at the table forgot about my 1-ring. Every single person forgot about it. And so I'm like, I can't say don't call the judge, because that's going to reveal my hope, which is that Kark Sakashima passes to me and we draw. Like, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But with the judge calls, we got an extension on time. And because of that extension, Kark Sakashima finally assembles after so many hoops and things jumping through. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it was a piloting issue or just how that is, but I'm going to say it was irritating regardless.
Yeah.
Even though the guy was, cool, happy-go-lucky guy, seemed fine, it was just so irritating that he couldn't close out the game, and it took him 45 minutes. And even after all of that, after he assembled the infinite freaking dual caster mages with Twin Flame.
Yeah.
Which is something you said you were on in this deck.
Yeah.
He assembled that. He all out swings, and I go, I have 1-ring protection? He forgot about it. So the whole time he was trying to do his things in the 45-minute turn.
Yeah.
He was not considering, as I was hoping, the fact that I had 1-ring protection. Pass to my turn, and then pass to my turn, and I'm not about to be the guy that's like, okay, I can't win obviously because he bounced all my stuff and whatever. So we had the time extension. I mean, I passed back to him on. He got another turn. He won the game.
You couldn't do anything on your turn.
No, because he rendered me like just completely useless. Like he bounced all my shit. He killed my Thrasios. Like he did everything he could to kill me. But yeah, I was hoping he was going to punt because he forgot about my 1-ring protection. And when he went through that whole turn, he did not play with that in mind.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit, annoyed that he took that long. Could be a Polygon issue, could be a deck issue. I'm not sure. Kark Sakashima players, Karkashima homies, let me know in the comments how that went. But if that's normal or not, because I don't know. But my experience playing against that deck was very negative. I'm annoyed. We're both 0-2, which reminds me, we should probably fill up here because we haven't been doing super well. So we'll turn a bit. Very sad. So.
Yeah. I mean, 0-2. So we're both 0-2.
Both 0-2. And then there comes round 3.
Round 3.
So for anyone who's new, at this point, we're both 0-2, which means we have to win the next 3 games.
We have to win 3 games to get into top 16
top 16,
sure.
to the semifinals. Yeah. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So, you're round 3, bro. How'd it go? What was that?
Round 3. We're going in. We need to win or draw at the very least this round.
Very least. A draw is optimistic too. There's 140 people here. Like,
yes. Going into it, I am. Guess what seat again? 3.
No way.
Yes, I'm third seat. 3 rounds in a row, I am third seat. I am playing against Scotty on Tivit, seat 1. Another guy on Tivit, seat 2. Me. And then there's this guy on Myra, seat 4. Myra's not a card you see in cEDH.
Myra's not a card I know. Let me look that up.
Yes, I got you. I have it pulled up right here.
Sure.
Myra the Magnificent, I think is what it's called.
Go for it. Lay it on me.
So, Myra, if this will load up.
Myra the Magnificent. Okay, I got it right here.
You got it?
It's from the Unfinity?
It is an Unfinity commander, yes.
So it's fake. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's a fake card.
Yeah, whenever you cast an instant
Well,
or
what's
sorcery
the mana
spell-
cost on it?
Okay, so yeah, it's 2, a blue and a red.
2 blue and a red.
For a legendary creature, human performer, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, open out attraction, whatever the hell that means.
You have an attraction deck that you have to flip on.
No,
God, it's I've seen this played in casual.
It's like a fusion deck in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I've seen this played in casual before, and playing this in cEDH, I'm like, okay, it's the same kind of game plan. So, what's the second part of Myra's ability?
Okay, yeah. So the first part, once again, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, open an attraction from your attraction deck, I guess. Tap X. Pay X, tap it, exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value X from your graveyard, and choose an attraction you control that doesn't have a midway counter on it.
Yep.
Put a midway counter on it. Whenever you visit that attraction, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
Yes. So, this deck is it extra turns? You're exiling an extra turn spell.
Okay.
You put it on the attraction. You roll. Eventually, you'll get enough extra turn spells that you are deterministically going to take infinite turns. The deck is very interesting. I think it's too strong for casual, but a little too weak for cEDH.
Okay.
I've seen it played in casual, and it just overwhelmed us because it was taking extra turns. It was doing the thing, but it's very interesting. It's a little bit chaotic. So if I remember correctly, it was like double Tivit, me, and this Myra. Myra turned 1 or 2 wheels, and so we all just get, okay, we're screwed, our hand's screwed. Second Tivit gets screwed out of the game, essentially, from that wheel. First Tivit, Scotty, he propels. He's going far.
Oh, shit, okay.
I get a good hand off that wheel. I'm trying to go for it. He stops me from ad nauseing. And I'm like, okay, well, he's playing Payable Police. Get it. He's got the answers to everything.
Payable Police.
Yeah, Payable Police.
TP.
Myra did not get a good hand off of its own wheel. I wheel again later in the game, and at that point, because I had no cards in hand, I was able to just like ritual wheel. Hopefully, I draw something. I don't. I draw an interaction. Scotty.
Yeah.
He's got this like 12-12 construct off of Urza Saga. He is smacking us
Wait,
down.
how does he have a 12-12?
Well, he played a Tivit. He's got a bunch of artifacts out, so he's just like sitting on those clues, hitting people, making that construct bigger, and he's just on us. Tivit gets removed by a Toxic, though, from the other Tivit player. He's like, I'm wiping the board.
Okay. Yeah.
He's playing Table Police. We're getting down to the wire here. Eventually, the second Tivit player, Demonic Consultations for Time Sieve, or Demonic Consultations for Jewel Lotus. He has Time Sieve in hand. Exiles his entire deck is up to 14 cards. What happens is he's able to play the Time Sieve the next turn. And he's like, I can't really feasibly take enough turns to kill you guys, because at that point I think he's drawn extra cards. By the time he gets the Time Sieve out with Tivit, he's got about 10 cards left in his library. I don't think he has enough to kill us. He offers a draw. It's getting close to time here. So we've gone through this whole game.
This is only Scotty.
It is not Scotty. This is the other Tivit player. We are getting close to time. He offers a draw because him and everyone's been fighting. Scotty, even though he has a commanding board presence with that construct, it gets removed. It gets cycrifted or something. So Scotty's locked out of his Tivit as well. So we're like, okay, what's going on here?
We all need 2 wins in the draw. Let's just take the draw, right?
Let's take the draw here. Yeah. Scotty does not want to take the draw, although he will take it. He will accept it. He just doesn't like it. Okay. The other Tivit player wants the draw. I want the draw. I'm basically out of this game too. I only have some interaction. And Myra has a board presence. Myra does not want to win. It does not want to draw.
What the heck?
So you know what this second table player does? He gets this time sieve out, and he just goes, I'm going to take extra turns, and I'm just going to kill the Myra player, and then we all draw. And because like if we kill him, he has no decision in it. We can just draw.
Wow.
That was the game plan. And Scotty's like, I'll stop you if you try to get him for the turns. And the guy's like, I can't. I'm just going to kill this player and we're going to draw. And he's like, all right, sure. So we let it happen.
Why wouldn't he just kill the whole table then and just win?
He can't. With the amount of cards left in his library, he cannot take enough turns to kill the table. By the way, at this point, I'm at 6 life with no flyers. And I'm just like, don't swing my way. I want the draw. And so he's not going to kill me. And then eventually he kills the Myra player. And then he's like, well, I could just kill you too. And I'm like, you kill me, I can't stop Scotty. Because at this point, Myra player's dead. Now Scotty's like, well, I got cards in hand. I want to play this out. I'm not going to draw.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is what this table player
And then this table player's like, well, second table player's like, well, I want to draw. And Scotty won't. And I think what it was is this second table player has a silence. He goes, okay, pass to you then. We're going to take as much time as we possibly can because the time's on the clock. We're at like 2 minutes left. He passes to me. I'm doing some things on my turn. I play Dockside or Cat. I think Dockside and Cat, and he just stops me. He goes, silence. I'm not going to let you do a bunch of red treasures. And I'm like, I probably can't win off this. I don't have enough in my hand.
Yeah.
But, okay, sure. I was just trying to take game actions. Go to Scotty, and this is this is my favorite interaction of the day. Oh my god.
Okay, tell me.
So he could go for Teferi Cat as the safe game plan.
Right, because Scotty's trying to play for a win.
Trying to win.
He's playing for a win here.
He tutors up a Hullbreaker Horror instead of Cat. Or Teferi, whatever he needed. Because he's thinking, Hullbreaker Horror can't be countered, he can't be stopped if he casts Hullbreaker Horror. He casts the Hullbreaker Horror. I cast Mystic Reflection. Yo. What? I cast Mystic Reflection.
I expected you to say Mind Ray Trap there.
No, not Mind Ray Trap, because it's like a second spell of the turn. I cast Mystic Reflection, targeting my Thrall, and he goes, yeah, I don't have any interaction. Hullbreaker Horror, he pays 7 mana for a 0/1 Thrall. It enters as a Thrall, because that's how the Mystic Reflection stops off.
Yeah, we were talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, so... And he just goes...
Oh my god.
Damn. And so we draw, because we go to time.
Jeez. And what was he...
I was so hyped, dude. I love Mystic Reflection. And hitting a Hullbreaker Horror, I'm like, oh, you paid 7 mana for a 0/1.
That's so good.
So then we draw off that, and I'm like, I'm so hyped after that going into the next round. Like,
that's sick. So at this point, you are 0,
2, and 1.
So you gotta win your next 2 games.
I need to win my next 2 games to get top 16.
You got this.
Yeah.
We got this. Okay, we had a boring first part, sadly. Not good for the algorithm. Not good for watch time. But we have a third round for me as well. And like you, I just went straight out the gate. I said, look, gentlemen, because it was all of us guys, right?
Yeah.
We were like, okay, we should draw here.
We should draw here.
Yeah. Because here's the deal. In order to hope to make it, 2 conditions have to be met. We need at least 2 wins and 1 draw. Let's just take the draw now, win our next 2 games. It'll be fine. Because if somebody loses here, like, it's gonna be a lot harder. You're gonna have to win your next 2 games, and maybe you won't make it because it's already round 3. So I offer a draw right out the gate. Good faith. I'm seat 3, by the way. We've got Brea in seat 1. Brea, I played against a lot of Brea. I have a good friend who pilots that.
We have a mutual friend who pilots Brea really well.
Yes, this guy was not as good, but okay, we'll get to that. We got seat 2. Seat 2 is running Kinnan, of course.
Yep.
There's me on Dargothras, and then we've got the 4th seat, who is this really spicy man that brought Themberchod.
What is Themberchod?
Yeah,
what is Themberchod?
It's
I've never heard of this card.
So it's a dragon. Okay, so let me just look this shit up. So
Is it the mono red dragon? I think I saw mono red dragon.
Yeah.
At one point.
This is a 7 mana dragon. When he enters the battlefield, he deals X damage to each other creature without flying, and each player, where X is the number of mountains you control. And then you may exert him as he attacks, and if you do, he gains flying. We don't care about that part.
Yeah.
It's an ETB board wipe, so it's mono red stacks. But he's going after me, so I'm like, I'm chilling. You can stacks me on all you want. You can play your Blood Moon. I have Dockside. I don't care.
Yeah.
Stacks for me, not a problem. That's gonna mess up Brea mostly. So we go through the game, and this game I set up my pieces. I have a win attempt going. I went for something in the realm of a Dockside Displacer kit, something like that. I went for something Dockside related, but Dockside, died somehow. I forgot. I think maybe I just valued Dockside for something. I don't exactly remember, but Dockside is dead at this point. So I go for a win attempt with Invasion of Ikoria. Now, what people usually forget about Invasion
is it can search your
is
graveyard.
you can go for the graveyard. So that gets countered. My win attempt is stopped. Keep in mind, for those in the audience, what I am trying to assemble here at this point. Kinnan is in my hand. I have a Dockside in my bin, and I have Tidespout Tyrant in my hand, which is an 8-mana creature that wins me the game, and I have 2 rocks, and I'm thinking, okay, Brea at this point has dropped tons of artifacts.
Yeah.
If I can just reanimate this Dockside,
it's over.
It's done. Brea has the answer. So I go, okay, here's what we're going to do. You have the answer there, Brea. Well, let's see if you can answer this. I play a Jeweled Lotus, crack it. Mm-hmm. At this point, I've sacrificed 1 treasure, and how Dargo works is anything you have sacrificed makes them cost 2 less.
Yep.
So I cast Dargo because I'm like, the game is stacked out. I've already sacked a treasure this turn. If I play Jeweled Lotus, that's free because 3 plus the 2 sacking the Lotus, Jeweled Lotus plus the treasure I sacked adds up to 7. That's how much Dargo costs. So I just hard cast Dargo, and I'm like, okay, so now what? Am I gonna get this 7/5? Or are you going to stop it? And the Brea player asks everybody, they're like, okay, this man just went for a win attempt, now he's casting Dargo, what's happening? Dargo was bait. Dargo was the bait to bait out more counter magic at that point. I actually believe that the way the turn sequence worked is I cast Dargo first before the invasion to get back Dockside.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to bait out counter magic, and I successfully did because the Brea player was like, I don't like Dargo. I don't know what this deck does. I don't know what he's doing with a 7/5. Yeah. I don't want to get smacked with a 7/5 when the board is stacked out. Brea can't kill Dargo.
Yeah.
Because Brea only gives -4/-4, so Brea counters Dargo with a Mind Break Trap.
Ooh.
And I'm like, yeah, I got you. And then when I jammed the invasion, I thought he wouldn't have anything, but he still had more. And I'm like, Brea just has all the answers for me. Okay, sure, pass the turn.
Yeah.
At this point. And I'm grinding value with Thrasios at this point. The game is continuing. Thember Chod drops Godo. Jessica's Will first chooses the first mode because Themberchod's not out there.
Yeah.
He makes 11 mana because Kinnan had drawn 11 cards somehow, makes 11 mana, drops in Godo. Kinnan has the answer this time. Kinnan stops him, whatever, because Kinnan had a force of vigor for the Helm of the Host. And for those of you who don't know, if you cast Godo, you get to search your library for an equipment. It goes straight to the battlefield. Tutor from your deck to the battlefield. And if you have 5 more mana, you can put Helm of the Host to it, make infinite Godos, infinite, you just win on the spot. So that was really scary that happened. As we're going around, interactions happening there, I'm interacting, Brea's interacting, Kinnan's interacting, all that stuff. We get to a point where the mid-range hell has happened on the stack. It comes back to my turn.
Okay.
And at this point in the game, I start to think, okay, my opponents are now exhausted. Mm-hmm. And I have a finale of devastation in hand.
You have a finale
and the invasion? Finale in hand at this point.
Did you draw it throughout turn rotation?
Yeah, well, I had Mystic Study. I mean, that's gonna get you where you need to be usually, most of the time. So I had the finale there, and I'm like, Brea just Mind Break Trap to Dargo. Just force of willed my stupid invasion. Actually, no, it was an offer you can't refuse. He offered it. So I'm like, okay. At this point, I've got the green light. Mm-hmm. I slam the finale. Brea sacrifices itself and a couple artifacts to kill my Thrasios, thinking, oh, Thrasios is out, I need to kill him, not understanding that infinite mana is the way I win. Yeah. And then it doesn't matter if I have Thrasios or not. So he made a mistake there. He was really beating himself up about it. I'm like, you can't blame yourself. This deck is hard to play around. I picked it for a reason. Yeah. It's tough. You're good, bro. You don't blame me for not knowing. It's really unpredictable to play around Dargo Thrasios. But the decisions the Brea player was making, he was beating himself up because he really made 2 misplays. The one was countering Dargo, the 2 was doing that, destroying Thrasios. So he killed Thrasios, and then I'm getting back Dockside, I make all these treasures. I had a Ragavan, Brea's open now, swing, get the extra treasure, cast the Kinnan from my hand. I had 5 more treasures. That's 8 more mana. That was enough for a Tidespout Tyrant. And then I was able to, from there, cast a Mana Crypt, loop an Arcane Signet I had on board, assemble infinite mana, play Thrasios, draw my deck, and win with one of my many combos. I won with one of my memeable ones, which is really funny. I won with a meme combo, which is Displacer Kitten, Eternal Witness, Lotus Petal, and Lightning Bolt. Because I already got into combat, so I couldn't infinite Finale of Dev.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do that. I got that Dubski as a result, and so now we are 1-2. Round 4.
Round 4.
How are you feeling? You got a draw. You need 2 wins at this point, right?
Going into it, I'm like,
yeah. First time on Crom to Mesh too. Bro.
Yeah, like, dude, literally every time. And you know what's great? Going into round 4, I am first seed.
Finally,
dude.
Right.
Finally.
Let's go.
Going in here, I'm going first seed. I'm against going. Second seed is Tivit, a different Tivit player. Third seed is Slicer. And then 4th seed is Obnixilis.
Who's Obnixilis? Because I know there was a really good Obnixilis player there.
Not him. it wasn't that the really good Obnixilis player because it seemed like he was playing Obnixilis because he really likes Obnixilis. I don't think he was playing Obnixilis as like the top tier. Like this is the best commander deck, and I'm playing it the best way I can play it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're first.
But I think he really likes Obnixilis and had fun with it, and I'm like, you know what? Have fun with what you want to do.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's what's up.
This round, I'm going to like, I need to win. I mull. Bad hand. Ship it. Bad hand. Ship it. I mulled a 4. Everyone else is like...
In first seed? What?
Yes.
Okay, but why? Okay. So was
none of
that...
I had either 1 or no lands. Every hand with nothing to do, even if I had the 1 land.
So you didn't feel like you could take your time.
I couldn't just like hope I draw a land. And I'm sitting against... I'm against Slicer, first of all. And I know Slicer is going for it, bro. Slicer just turn 1 Slicer, kill someone.
Yeah, somebody's dead.
And I'm like, it's probably me. Tivit, Obnixilis, and Crom Tevesh. It's probably me. I'm the most glaring red light Adnaz deck at the table, so...
Yeah. Are all builds of this of Crom Tevesh on Adnaz? Because I
want to say like 90% of them are.
90% of them are? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that as well.
Yeah.
But I would also assume that more mid-rangey piles wouldn't want to be on.
These are definitely like mid-range Adnaz, like not turbo Adnaz.
If we were brought up together in this situation or any situation, I'm hitting you. I'm gonna assume you're on Nas, but I mean, I know for a fact that Roxai is on Nas. I just don't know about Crom Tevesh.
Crom Tevesh is like a meteor version of Roxai where you can play more mid-range cards.
Right.
But you're still on Nas.
You're still on Nas. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you be? Yeah.
But going against these decks, I'm like, okay, crap. I need something to deal with the Slicer probably. And I'm mulling down. I go to 4, I look at it, and I'm like, maybe I can get something. I keep 3 lands and a Tainted Pact. I remember this very clearly. Nothing else. I'm just 3 lands and a Tainted Pact, and I'm like, let's hope it works. Tivit, Greedy he kept like 2nd, 7, or 6. I think it was 6, and he didn't want to go to 5. Greedy kept no lands. He went 0 rock. He went like Mana Crypt, Chrome Mox, or something like that. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then he didn't do much else. Pass. Slicer goes turn 1 Slicer. Jewel Lotus, Slicer out. Hits me first, obviously.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you guys all feasibly could be on Nas, but we're going to go in turn order. So he hits me, give it to the Obnix player. The Obnix player gets turn 1 Obnix with Jewel Lotus. Hits Tivit, because he's like, you could also be on Nas. Go to me. And I'm like, okay, 2nd land, Slicer hits Obnix. And then I pass. And I'm like, I could Tainted Pact. I was thought about doing it on my turn. I'm like, this is instant. I'll do it on my end. I'll do it on his end step. Tivit goes... Tivit Slicer's me. I think. Or do we... does he remove the Slicer? I think he removes the Slicer somehow on his turn.
Yeah.
After hitting me.
Yeah.
Goes to the Slicer player's turn. Slicer player's like, well, I can't play him again this turn.
Right.
Plays Mana Crypt, Weathered Runestone. Weathered Runestone's 2 mana, Grafter's Cage, essentially. It's like, players can't cast cards from graveyards or libraries, and non-land permanents can't enter from graveyards or libraries.
Yeah.
Goes to Obnix.
But it does a little bit more than just...
Yeah.
A little bit more than Grafter's Cage, right?
A little bit more.
Because it says cards can't be cast from exile too, right?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think it also says can't
Right.
be cast from exile, and then
Yeah. So
he.
it's a little bit more than graphics.
I think he also bolts the Omnix because he kills the Omnix before going to the player's turn because it's like turn on Omnix, I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, of course.
Go to Omnix and he's like, okay, well I guess I can't do anything. I'll play this 1/1 that doesn't do much.
Mm-hmm.
And I Tainted Pact and I find my first card I flip is Ristic Study, and I'm like, well I have a third card in hand, so my third land in hand, so I'll just do that. Keep that.
Sure.
Go to my turn, play the Ristic Study.
You're back in.
Draw cards.
You're back in.
I'm back in.
You're back.
I'm back in.
So you're back.
Go right there. Timid still he gets like one land, I think finally. Go to Slicer. Slicer's like, I can cast Slicer again. I hit him with the Mystic Reflection again,
No,
bro.
that is your card. That is your MVP
Yes.
card. Yeah.
And because Slicer's living metal, it enters as a creature. So I'm like, because they were thinking, well, that's a vehicle that doesn't enter as a creature. I'm like, yes, it does. It's a living metal. It's creature on your turn.
Oh.
So it enters as like the 1/1 that does nothing from the Omnix player. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, how long does it stay that way? And I'm like, forever until it dies. Or you can bounce it. And he's like, damn.
Sick.
And I'm just drawing cards as the turns go by, and then eventually I have like a full grip, like eight or nine cards, and I'm like, huh. I have a Breach, I have a Lion's Eye, I have a Gamble,
Easy. You
and I'm just like, I got this, and I go,
Yep.
okay, Breach.
Yeah.
Tibbet fights me on it.
No.
I have a Protection. I fight Tibbet back.
Okay. Yeah.
Slam the Breach.
Yep.
We're good. Go to cast Lion's Eye. Crack it. I crack it, and I'm like, okay, so I can gamble from here, and I can gamble Brain Freeze, and we're over, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone on the table goes, so what are you gonna do about that Weathered Runestone? Completely off my radar. Dude, I forgot about it because I'm like, I'm thinking Grafter's Gauge stopped me. That's not Grafter's Gauge. I don't see people play that. Completely off my radar.
No.
I punted so hard.
Oh, that hurts.
And then I passed a Tivit with no cards in hand, and he slams a whole Ripper Horror and wins the game. So it's rough because in my hand was also like an Oppo and some counter magic, and I could have just kept it up sitting on my Ristic Study, but I decided to go for the Breach because I figured no one had interaction. Because I'm playing against only one other blue player and I had protection. And I forgot about the Weathered Runestone. So I punted that round.
I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So yeah, I'm 0-3-1.
That's rough.
That round was the worst game of my career. It was also the fourth game I've ever played this deck. But I should really be looking out for stuff that stops Breach. I don't play Breach that often.
Right.
I give it to that, but
I think that's just testament to the fact that you are brand new on this deck, and guess what? Atraxa plays every color but red. So,
yeah, I don't have to worry about Breach and Atraxa.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it totally makes sense.
And when I played Animar, I was all creatures. I didn't have to worry about Breach either.
Exactly. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all good, bro. But hey, you could still win the next.
Yeah.
Well, this is round 4, right?
This was round 4.
Round 4. So
If I win one
At
more, I
this-
get one win on a draw, and that's what I was like.
At this point.
At this point, I'm not making top 16.
At this point, you're not.
So I
That
go into the next
sucks.
round with just thinking, have fun.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Hey, dude. So always finish out the tournament. Just for fun.
Might as well. I'm like, I paid to be here. I'm playing all 5 of my rounds.
That makes sense. I'm going to round 4, straight off of a win, thinking, hey, I haven't gotten a draw at all yet. So at this point, I am trying to gun for a win here, and then maybe draw my last game.
Or win your last game.
Or win my last game.
Yeah.
All right, and it depends on points at that point. So for those of you who don't know, so if you win a game, it's 5 points. Right?
Yep.
Draw a game, everybody in the point
It's
gets
1
1 point. So at this point,
Tournament
I have
math.
tournament math. I have 5 points right now. I am thinking I need at least 11 points to get in the top 16. That's what I think at this point in the tournament. So I'm going, okay, if I can win this game, draw my next game, I have a chance because I lost my first 2 games, so I'm a little bit nervous. So it all comes down to this game.
Yeah.
For me, this game is everything. Game 4 is everything for me. So who am I up against? Let's go through. So we've got Thrasios Bruce in C1. Dawnwaker Thrasios in C1. And honestly, I like that matchup for me because a lot of Dargo Thrasios versions are not on the more grindy plan, so they can't pivot.
Yeah.
So my list can, because it's more Thrasios leaning, which some people do not prefer, but at this point, I think that my decision to do that may or may not pay off. I won't be able to compete on the same level as a deck like Thrasios Bruce that can do that. They can just pivot on that. But I'm more explosive, so there's my advantage.
Yeah.
And then we've got third seat, Blue Farm, of course. Yeah. Right? And then fourth seat, we've got...
What seat are you second?
We've got Matt Sperling.
Ooh.
On Talion.
Are you second or first seat?
I am second seat here.
You're second seat.
Because it's Thrasios Bruce, right?
Then
maybe we can show the pods too on the screen too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so first we've got Thrasios Bruce. Yeah. Then we've got me. And then we've got Blue Farm. Sperling, right?
And that Blue Farm player was the one I played in my first round, the second seat Blue Farm.
Okay.
I remember that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that was him, right?
Yeah.
So he was there.
Okay.
And then Sperling on Talion. And that guy is real good. He's a pro.
He's very good.
But I'm up against him. At this point, I don't know why, but I just felt like... I felt so pumped up. I don't know why. I was so hyped. I'm like, I got this. I've been prepping for 4 months. Yeah. No, this game is the game, you guys. So here we go. So we have I get my first 7. What does it look like? Training Grounds. A spicy, old-fashioned pick for my list, but I'm like, I have a turn 1 Training Grounds. I'm going to be able to compete with Thrasios Bruce straight out the gate on the grind plan. I'm already pivoting, and I'm here for it, because I, over time, can outvalue Talion this way. Thrasios' value is now doubled. Yeah. I feel really good about just turn 1 Training Grounds, turn 2 Thrasios, and just going for it. Yeah. It goes to my turn. What do I rip off the top? Off of my first draw, Mana Crypt. I'm like, easy. I'm like, turn 1, freaking a Tropical Island, tap that shit, play the Training Grounds, and I got the Mana Crypt right there. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we're getting the Thrasios activation. Turn 2, we're in good shape. Like we got it. So we go around the table. Blue Farm does some things, that Blue Farm likes to do, which is just put its advantage engines. Mm-hmm. But here's the cool part. Yeah, so Blue Farm put its advantage engines out, but at this point, Thrasios is my advantage engine, and I'm actually able to keep up. I think Training Grounds is a decent pick for a lot of Thrasios builds. Mm-hmm. I swapped out a Dork for it last minute. I don't regret it. I was able to keep up with Blue Farm in the early game, even though I knew he would outval me later on. I felt like I could keep up.
In the early game, you can get that card advantage.
Exactly, and the card selection too, because Thrasios scries 1 beforehand, which people don't think about, but it does matter. And making it cost 2, it's totally worth the price. So I was just doing that grinding value. Talion's triggering all the time because Sperling went freaking Jeweled Lotus, turn 1 Talion, put it on 2. He knows what he's doing. Like I'm like, oh, okay. Talion's drawing a lot of cards, all this stuff. Thrasios Bruce goes Dawnwaker, and then Grim Monolith.
Oh man.
And a lot of us are sitting there going, okay. I mean, I didn't see the combo at first glance. I passed part of the Blue Farm player, and the Blue Farm player goes, I'm gonna pass. Wait, hold on. Before I say I'm gonna pass priority, that's an infinite mana combo, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe it's definitely not fine. It might be an infinite combo. And the guy's like, okay, all right, sure. Yeah. Italian player, I don't have anything here. An Italian player, freaking, of course, Sperling, he has the response. He's got the perfect answer. I think it was like a forced negation, just exiling the thing. Like, he's never getting that combo again. Like, just straight up gone. And I was like, okay, cool. So it goes back to my turn. And here we have the jam.
The jam,
yeah, dude. We got Dockside, Displacer Kitten, Manual Storm. So here's the fun thing, right? So we got Dockside. We played the Dockside. Dockside at this point made 6 treasures and somewhere about, actually 6 or 5, one of those 2. And then we jammed Displacer Kitten. Okay. Right? And so I had Thrasios on board at the time as well. So I had all these pieces right here, bro. And then from this point, it was weird because the Blue Farm player and Sperling, they were like, okay, they asked the Thrasios Bruce player, how does this combo work? They didn't know that this is a Manual Storm line with Thrasios. Manual Storm means you convert your mana into, or you convert the ETBs casting spells into mana that you then manually pay for Thrasios' ability to go for it.
You're just hoping you draw non-creature spells that are cheap that you can cast again.
And this is where my training grounds came in extra clutch, because now when I make treasures with Dockside, after every single non-creature spell cast, Thrasios' cost is reduced. So even if I run out of non-creature spells in my hand, I can keep paying Thrasios so easily and just keep going. So they realized this, because Thrasios Bruce does this also. But he was like, okay, we need to do something. So Blue Farm drops in a Orcish Bowmasters. And Talion has a trigger off the Displacer Kitten. So at this point, with the ETB and the Talion trigger, he can kill my Dockside. And so I'm like, okay, I have 2 cards in hand. I have a Mystical Tutor and a Force of Will. I'm like, do I use the Force of Will now to protect my Dockside, or do I just let it die and hope I get it back and use the Mystical Tutor to do something? At this point in the game, I ended up deciding, and maybe I did this wrong, but I Force of Willed the Bowmaster, because I'm like, I'm going to keep my board state for now. I had 1 treasure left open and no non-creatures in my hand. I had a Boseiju and a Otawara, which are not spells, in my hands. And then I was like, okay, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. I Force Willed it just to keep my combo. They have 1 turn cycle to stop me. If they can't, I just win. Let's have that be what happens here. Blue Farm tries to jam a win with Underworld Breach, spends all of Talion's interaction. Talion didn't have anything for me with this first win attempt, by the way. Nothing. Sperling had nothing. Then Blue Farm goes for it. Sperling spends all his interaction trying to stop Blue Farm. He can't. He's going for Breach Line. He casts LED, sacks LED, makes the mana, goes to cast his spell, his Brain Freeze, and at this point we're like, it's over. It's done. We're dead. But no, my friend. Who has the save? Not Sperling. Not Dominic Thrasios. I had the Boseiju for the breach.
Dude.
Right there. And then everybody at the table cheered. It was intense. There's a lot of people watching me too. Like, I was like, Boseiju breach, everybody cheered. It was so, it felt so good because it's uncounterable. And the Blue Farm player was so mad. It was so cool to stop that. Talion plays Gilded Drake, takes my Displacer Kitten away. I was very sad about that. But I'm like, I still have Otawara. Come back to my turn. We just bounced in my hand uncounterably. Replay it. Do the same exact thing I was going to do. I cast the Otawara.
You channeled the Otawara.
Yeah, I channeled the Otawara, whatever. It's almost like you cast it. Channel it to target Kitten and Dawnwaker Thrasios. Towards the Plowshares, exiling my Displacer Kitten, which looks ironically like the cat I own in real life. Maybe I'll have a picture. I don't know. But I don't know how much I want to dox my cat. Anyways, he's dead. He's dead. Anyways, he's dead. He's exiled. But I'm like, okay, I have other options. I have Spellseeker. I off the top, I rip a Jessica's Will, so I cast that. So I still am in the game for sure. Like, if I had Displacer Kitten and just cast Jessica's Will, awesome. But I just cast Jessica's Will. I ended up with a Heuristic Study and a couple other awesome stuff on board.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm like,
you're still in this game.
Yes, definitely still in the game, even though it's my second win attempt. I'm good. Blue Farm tries to go for a line. He ends up punting. He miscalculates his breach math, which I get. Sucks.
Breach math is tough.
Talion proceeds to drop a defense grid and Mnemonic Betrayal with Breach in Blue Farm's graveyard and just destroys us with a defense grid protection. And I'm like, dang it, Sperling, if you would have just not had it that one turn, I had it coming around to mine. Yeah. Matt Sperling played a hell of a game. We all did. We were all very good, competitors, good players. Awesome game. But no, Sperling got it with the protection from defense grid and then mean betrayal into a breach line from Blue Farm's deck. It was a sick win, but I was a little salty because I was like, man, if you would have just passed it, I could have had it because I was drawing so much off that Heuristic Study. My hand was like 10 cards before it was Talion's turn, so.
Damn,
it was rough.
That is rough.
Yeah. So I didn't win my fourth round. I am now
1-3.
1-3.
Oh, well, it's better than 0-3-1.
Yeah.
Better than 0-3-1.
I know it's a fun game at this point. How did your round 5 go?
Oh man, my round 5. Wish I had a game like that before round 5. I keep my first 7 because it has lands and a fish, Mystic Remora. And I go, okay. I'm first seat. I'm playing against Blue Farm. I'm playing against... It was Blue Farm. I had Rograk, Thrasios in 4th seat. 3rd seat was... Oh man, it's other Tevesh Krom. It was another Tevesh Krom.
Sure.
So I go turn 1, fish. Everyone's like, okay. I play that, and the other Tevesh Krom's like, I'm feeding him. I don't care, Blue Farm. You can hold back. I'm feeding him. No. Blue Farm goes, all right, land. I'm not going to feed you. Pass. Tevesh Krom feeds me a bunch of cards. Rograk Thrasios goes, well, if you fed him, I'm going to do it. Feeds me a bunch of cards. I go into my 2nd turn holding like 12 to 15 cards. And I'm
why
like,
would they feed you this much, bro?
So then I start going, okay, land, rock, dockside, because you fed me with artifacts. There's a bunch of artifacts on the board. And they're like, whoa, make 8 treasures.
On turn 2?
Yes.
Holy moly.
And then I'm just like, okay, let's go. I can't really convert it into anything else, though. I just cast a Tevesh and pass, because there's no creatures on the board, really. Blue Farm, I keep up the fish, by the way. So then Blue Farm goes, well, they all fed you. I'm going to cast, and he feeds my fish even more. And I'm like drawing cards. I'm like, oh, this is sick. Tevesh Krom gets his own Tevesh out. Go to Rograk Thrasios. He's trying to Eldritch or something. Gets stopped. I stop him.
Nice.
Go to my turn. And I'm like, this is where I can do the thing. I have Mystic Reflection targeting my dockside.
Yeah. To get 2 docksides off of Tevesh's.
They kill my dockside. And I'm like, bro.
No.
But you know, it's fine. Because I clone Rograk Thrasios' dockside that he cast.
There you go.
And I make more treasures.
Still works.
And then I Krom and pass. I have so much value. I end up... Blue Farm has to stop between me and the other Tevesh Krom. He's stopping both of us. Rog Thrasios isn't doing much after we counter his stuff. He's got like 1 card in hand. And he shows it's a land. And we're like, okay, you're not doing much. I was this close to doing the thing I really wanted to do, though. I feel like it was a fun game. I'm like, if I had done the thing, I would have won. I mean, 16 treasures.
That's a lot of treasures.
Plus, I had a wishcloth in my hand, so it was over.
Oh, yeah. But someone else just got it before you?
Yes. The other Tevesh Krom then goes, I got a bunch of cards in hand, Thassa's.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we can't stop you.
That's the end.
Yeah.
Damn, but you gotta do the sweet double dockside.
I wanted to do the double dockside so bad. But you know what? It's fine. I'm going to get there eventually. I'm going to keep playing this deck until I get there.
Yeah.
And then I'm
so cool.
I might drop it. I don't know.
And then you'll stop. As soon as you get the double dockside.
Yeah. As soon as I get double dockside, scoop, I'm getting rid of the deck. So,
yeah, it's over.
I did the thing.
That was a fun arc. We're done.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, that's how my round 5 went. I had all the value in the world. I should have won that game. But the other Tevesh Krom just got there faster.
Damn, dude.
He was leaning more into the turbo aspect, and he played counterbalance. He had a counterbalance up that was able to stop some things.
He had countertop in Krom, Tevesh?
Some of the lists are actually running countertop in Tevesh Krom. That's a thing. Yeah, I don't like it.
Not so familiar with the deck, but yeah.
That is what I cut to run Dual Caster Twin Flame, because I feel like I'd rather have the infinite combo than control piece.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, that seems like more your style for sure.
I'm not a control player.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. I totally see that with you. So for me...
Yeah, round 5.
My round 5. I was against really freaking good Obnix players. So here we go.
Oh, you're a good Obnix player.
Yeah, his name's Brian. He's a really cool guy. I've always enjoyed playing against him. Although he seems to screw up my mana every time I play against him, and he did it in this game too. I'll explain. Yeah. So here's how it went, right? I played with him in Fishbowl 2.
Yeah.
And he oppoed when I fetched, and it screwed up my mana completely.
Yeah.
And this time he did something similar, but not quite. It's partially my fault. I'll explain. We have seat 1. Good, like Brian.
Good Tevesh.
Good Obnix. The
yeah.
only reason why I'm saying good Obnix, not saying that all Obnix's pilots are bad, but it's a really hot deck. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people play it. But Brian is like, you guys don't understand. He's a beast. Like,
he's a different type.
He's a different animal. Like he was first round. He was first in the Swiss last tournament at our local game shop, which was a really big tournament, the Top Deck Championship Series.
Brian is very good on Obnix.
He's a very good Obnix player.
He's built different.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what he's doing differently, but he's so good. So he's first, right? Then we got Najila second. Dargo Thrasios third. I was third seat. maybe what was it, 3 out of the 5 games? Like,
So was I. They put us in third.
Yeah, they put us in third. They were too scared. It's okay. Anyway, so because it's big boy winner, we both have big boys in the command zone. Anyways, so and then last seat we had Kinnan. Of course we did.
Yeah.
Right. So there it is. So we have Obnix going for it. He's on the play. Of course, we see a turn 1 Obnix, esophageal bonus. I'd expect nothing less.
Yeah.
Right. No, that was always the plan.
Yeah.
So what does my hand look like at this point? My hand is...
Hope it's not fetches.
No. Here's what it is. Dockside.
Okay.
Finale of Devastation.
Yeah.
Worldly Tutor. Right? Rock. Minamo. No source of red to be found. I'm like, if I draw 1 source of red, I just get to win. Because I'm going to Dockside, cast the Finale to find Kitten, and I'll just win the exact same way I wanted to when I was facing in my previous round with Thrasios, Manual Storm. Easy. Dockside, Kitten, Manual Storm. So I was like, okay, so here we go. I draw my card for turn. Guess what it's not?
Not a red source.
It's definitely not a red source.
Damn.
And Obnix did also drop a Ragavan as well, turn 1. So I believe actually what he did was he dropped the Ragavan turn 1. I'm sorry. It wasn't turn 1 Obnix. It was turn 2. Like it matters. He drops turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Obnix, swings at me with the Ragavan, and I top decked at that point, and guess what he milled off of me? A land.
A red source.
Yeah, it's the exact thing I needed, bro. It wasn't a red source, but it would have allowed me to cast Thrasios and make use of the Mox Amber that I had played turn 1.
Yeah.
So that's and that would have been 4 mana to grind with Thras, which is what I would have wanted, right? My ideal play was turn 2 Thrasios with an activation.
Yeah.
I would have been, very close to that. So he milled that land off of me. I was quite sad. And then I was just... My heart wasn't in the game, bro. I was so sad. I was out of it. I was like, I have 1 source of blue. Like, my Mox Amber's not turned on. I have a mana crypt. Whoop-de-doo. I'm flipping. I'm losing the flips. Like, at this point, I'm out of the game. I'm interacting here and there. Najila drops a Grand Abolisher. I bounce it. Like, I'm interacting, but I'm not. My heart's not in it, bro. I'm like, I'm out of the game. Like, at this point, also too, guys, in the tournament, I learned that 10 points wouldn't get you to top 16.
Oh,
and
so
I
you
had
were already
one
feeling
win.
like you were...
I had one win with 5. Yeah, I was like, I needed to win last round, and I didn't. So even if I get 5 points here, 10 won't be enough. So my heart wasn't in it. And I was just drawing, and I'm interacting, and whatever. And then, what? That's a Verdant Catacombs. Verdant Catacombs finds Taiga. Taiga's a red source.
You found a red source.
Dockside, let's make 7 treasures.
7 treasures.
7 treasures. Let's go Finale of Death for 4.
Yep. Going for it.
Yeah. Finale of Death for 4. Find Displacer Kitten, put it straight into my deck. And at this point, Najila tapped out because Najila got removed by Obnix because I had to remove the Grand Abolisher, like I mentioned. And I go Dockside, Finale for Displacer Kitten, and then I cast Worldly Tutor, Flicker Dockside, find Kinnan, and then I cast Kinnan, and then at that point the Kinnan player was like, "You're just playing my deck with red." I'm like, yes, I am. And then I went for a Manual Stormline, found Jessica's Will, cast that, went into it, and then I found the Spell Seeker into Neoform, cast my Dargo, Neoform into Tidespout, loop him and Dargo, loop Dargo and Dockside over and over. And the funny thing was, I cast the Dargo, bounced the Dockside, recast Dockside, triggered Tidespout, target Dargo, and I was like, okay, this is your last chance to respond before I win. Do you have a response for me, Tidespout, trigger, target Dargo? Because I'm going to just bounce this over and over.
Yeah. And
at that point, what I did was, I made infinite mana, I drew my whole deck, I cast Eternal Witness, returned Finale from my yard to my hand.
And then Finale for 1 million.
Finale for 1 million with all my creatures. And I ended up winning game 5, putting me at 2 wins and 3 losses for the tournament, which was 10 points, not enough to make top 16. But the other Dargo Thrasios player that was there, a guy named Punchy, he's real cool. His record was also 2-3, and he also represented some really cool wins with the deck too.
Yeah.
What's it called? Born Upon a Wind into Greater Good, which I talked about
Born
earlier.
Was so gas.
Yeah. Born Upon a Wind into Greater Good, and then he just drew his deck when he had Dockside and Temur Sabertooth.
Yeah.
He made Infinite Storm that way, and then Brain Freezed everybody.
Yeah.
It was a sick win from him for sure. I saw him do that.
Yeah.
But him and I both went 2 and 3, and so overall pretty decent Dargo Thrasios representation, but really competitive. 10 points was not enough this time.
After round 5, you ended with 2 wins, 3 losses. I ended with 4 losses and a draw.
Oh.
What a good showing, am I right? That was
your first time playing the deck, though, man. Like honestly,
it's fine. That's the move.
Yeah.
Because you know what that means? We got nowhere to go but up.
That's true.
Well, okay, technically I could go down, but we're not going to talk about 5 losses in a row. We're going to go nowhere to go but up.
I mean, you had one draw. It wasn't a loss.
My one draw was sick. Mystic Reflection of Horror feels so good. Yeah. So overall, how did you feel about the tournament?
Overall, I feel like this tournament I played better than I ever have in most tournaments. Like, because for me, like, I can usually count the times where I made like one misplay or two, but like this tournament, I feel like I played pretty solidly for the most part. And you know, that just came from me talking with the people after the game too.
Yeah.
Like, which, you know, if your opponents are open to it and you're at a big tournament, like,
you might as well talk
you
about it.
You can talk about it. Like, yeah, debrief your games. Yeah. I'm a big fan of that. It's how you get better. My first game and my first game and then the game against Sperling were the two that I thought maybe I may have made a mistake. But talk with the Blue Farm players after game one where, you know, I turn one wheel, they're like, no, that was the play. We would have won so much faster. You have no idea. It was a snap keep from me.
Yeah.
In first seat, and my friend Alex told me, so I felt good about that overall.
If you see that first snap keep, you're like, okay, I got to disrupt this hand.
Exactly.
You know, we have like our friend who will always take the turn one Winds of Change if he has it.
Yeah.
Just to mess up everybody's mulligans.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the thing you need to do, especially against two Blue Farms when you're after them. Like, disrupting their hands in order to gain some type of advantage. And it wasn't bad. I had the Ancient Tomb and a Rock. Like, after that wheel, I'm still up 1 mana.
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm still...
Might as well.
I had to do something to play it. And then the game with Sperling, I really felt weird about me doing the Force of Will with the Bowmasters on the dock side, but in hindsight, I'm like, Sperling didn't have the thing to stop me. It took the Thrasher's Bruce player to exile Kitten when I was going to bounce it to my hand.
Yeah.
Because Manual Storm is really hard to stop even with counterspells. You still get the Displacer Kitten triggers.
Exactly. That's something I did in Atraxa a lot, where if you have a cat out, as soon as it's out, dude, even if you try to kill the Atraxa, kill the Displacerkin, any counterspell from me turns into another Atraxa ATB, draw 5 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, and for me, it's not drive 5 cards right away.
It's make a bunch of treasures, draw a bunch of cards with Thrasios.
Exactly. So it's 1 degree of separation there. It's not the main plan of the deck, but I got a win with it, and I also represented a win via just hard casting type spot. So overall, I felt really good the way I played, the way I politicked. It all felt really good, and I was overall happy with the result, even though 10 points wasn't enough to top 16 this tournament because it was just so big and so competitive.
140 people.
I was happy with how stuff ended out. Just not only how I played, but also the people I faced. I felt like everyone was super nice.
Yeah.
I felt like I had all good games. I didn't have super mid-rangey, hellish scenarios there. It was just all very cool people and very big stack interactions and very solid games, except for game 2, where it was a game of solitaire for 45 minutes. But that's magic.
I think there were a lot of great people in this tournament, and I think that's the point of paper tournaments, being in person, you know, getting to meet all these great people, you know, play games against people, you know. It's all about getting those cEDH games against people who want to get those tournament games in, and having that mindset, you know, instead of just your LGS cEDH night, you play against those people all the time, getting the different views. I will say, it was a lot of Blue Farm. In my experience, there's a lot of Tivit as well. I know you probably didn't play against it that much. I didn't play against any
Tivit 3 times, and I did not lose to a Kinnan. Because I teched for Kinnan. No, because I teched for Kinnan.
Yeah.
I was really, like, trying to make sure, because a lot of things, too, I was really hoping someone would play a Kinnan, because I have Basalt in here. Yeah. So, and my own Kinnan, so just clone a Kinnan Basalt with Thras in the command zone is just nice.
Yeah.
But no, Kinnan didn't really scare me too much this tournament. I didn't lose to one, but Blue Farm got me.
Blue Farm got you. Yeah, Blue Farm is the most consistent deck in the format right now. Makes sense.
Especially when my friends playing. Oh yeah, and shout out to my buddy Alex who did beat me round 1.
Dude, shout out to Alex.
Top 16. He
made
top 16
with Blue Farm.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a very good player.
He is. I mean, yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for watching our first episode, our pilot episode,
of
Convenient Commander.
Exactly.
So,
I know this was a tournament recap, but in future episodes we will be talking about like deck techs, talking about different things we want to talk about in the cEDH community, and hopefully getting more people to join cEDH. You know, it is a really fun format, and it would be great for everyone to join. That's why we are Convenient Commander. We are making cEDH convenient for everyone.
Exactly, and we'll have some casual content here too. I mean, we're both from casual perspectives, you know, so making casual more convenient too, I think is cool too. Like some casual folks want to play more high power, but not quite cEDH.
Exactly.
And I do think there's something to be
said.
There's
There's differences. You got your casual, you got your high power, and you got your cEDH. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, this we come from casual backgrounds into cEDH, and I think both versions of Commander are amazing, and that's why it is Convenient Commander.
Okay. Yes, sir. All right.
Awesome. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's thanks.
Come on in and sit on down. There's plenty of room all around. Just bust out your cards and take a seat. Come on and play some cEDH with me. Yeah. Come on in and sit on down. There's plenty of room all around. Just bust out your cards and take a seat. Come on and play some cEDH with me. Yeah.